Hey, it's Aaron from GameEnthus.com, and this time taking a look at, well, hold on, ROVE. ROVE is an acronym which stands for Results Oriented Versatile Explorer. ROVE is one of the latest games from Button Shy, who is well known for creating low card count, quite portable, quite pocketable, often single player experiences. ROVE is also a single player experience. Well, you can play with other people, allowing more people to make decisions and maybe express what they think the next move should be. But ideally, I do believe that the designers Dustin, Dobson, and Milan, Zivkovic intended this to be a single player affair. But what you do in your own home is kind of up to you. Just another note that is related, but not necessarily germane to this game. Dustin Dobson is one of the producers for God of War Ragnarok. So, yeah. And this is the finished product. This is the game. These are the components. I'll put this up here somewhere so it can be seen, in case you forget the name. These are the main components in ROVE. You're going to have 6 modules. Each module has rules that dictate how it's able to move and have their own abilities. The coil allows you to place it in any valid location. The brain allows you to place any module adjacent to it. The laser swaps any 2 modules, the positioning. The sensor allows you to draw an additional movement card. I'll get to those in just a second. The gripper allows you to activate any adjacent module's ability, including those that have already been used. When the module's ability has been exhausted, you would just flip it over to indicate that it's been used already. So that's pretty clutch right there. The motor is sort of pushing, as you can see the little icon here, pushing other modules one space. So sort of like shifting it. It's moving a space, so it's pushing what it's in front of. The icons on the card also indicate how they're able to be moved. The icon with the diamond means you can move any number of spaces, but you must pass over at least one other module. This one means, like I said before, you are pushing or shifting a module that's adjacent. This one means you can only move one space. This one means you can move the arrow that's just open, means you can move any number of spaces that you're allowed, but obviously in the diagonal directions indicated. The laser can move anywhere, and the brain can move in cardinal directions. So those what the modules are. How the game works is you are trying to fulfill missions. These are all different missions. So the missions mean you are trying to configure the modules to match. So this mission here wants the brain to be here, and all the other ones can be any other modules be situated like this. Some are easier than others. And sometimes the picture sort of indicates what you're doing exactly. Like this one is jumping. It looks sort of like a pogo stick, if you will, or you have the coil at the top, 2 adjacent to it, and the rest beneath it. But what's really important is on the back of all of the mission cards are the movement cards. You start the game off with 5, and what movement cards mean, the number in the upper left corner is how many movements this card allows you to do. The number in the bottom right corner means that if the module configuration on the movement card matches what you have, you get this number. So if you had this set up, so right now in this default configuration, I'd only have 2 movements. Now, if this is what I had, I could play this card and move 4. So that's a big difference. And just full disclosure, I've played this game many times. I've gotten 5 missions completed. The actual goal is to complete 7, and that means that you've won. I've done 5. I've done 5 on easy. By easy, I mean you start off with 5 cards on easy, and then you decrease it by 1 to make the game that much more difficult. This game plays fairly quickly. The estimate, I believe, is 10 minutes, maybe 10, 12 minutes, something like that. So I'll play a quick game, embarrass myself. You can see how the game kind of flows. Okay, shuffle these up. Okay, so this is my random layout. This is my mission card. I'm trying. I have to play a card. Now, mind you, when you have less than 5 cards and you've played some, you can just draw 1. So you can't draw back up to 5 unless you had 4 cards, then you draw back up to 5. And you only draw back up once you've completed a mission. So you can't use too many cards trying to complete it, because you're only going to draw 1 card after you've completed the mission. So I have to figure out what's the most efficient way to get this done. So the question is, am I better off just going right for this mission, or am I better off spending a card to reposition what I have to spend another card but get more points out of it? Meaning, am I better off just spending, just trying to figure out how I can spend a card to get this to happen, or spending a card to make one of these happen so that I can get more steps from it? All right, if I spend this card, that means I have 2 movements now. If I use this ability, I would switch these 2 modules. That doesn't count for a move. And then my second move will be that. So I switch those around. I use this ability probably sooner than I should have. So I'm not too far off from this one. If I use that for 2 points, I have 2 movements. So like a fool, I'm going to burn that power too, which is not smart. Move 1, 2, thus recreating this with the brain here, and then a casket, and then it going up. All right, so that has been completed, and I'm going to draw an additional card, and now this is my new mission. All right, I'm going to burn this one and move this here. So that's 1 movement. I use this one for 2, and that's gonna let me move 1, 2, which now lets me, now I have this created. No, I don't. Well, no. Oh, okay, I do. It just, okay. So now, because I have the gripper and then the brain and the sensor. So now I can use that for 4 and hopefully get somewhere. This one lets me just move a single space. So that's 1, 2. Okay, that's 2, 3, 4, right? I have 4, so now, oops, I keep showing things out of frame. So yes, these are all the completed ones here. So I've completed 3. Oh boy. And then now this becomes, well, this is the last mission. You would take what's here, don't shuffle it, and then now that's the mission deck. Do I have anything completed here? And of course I don't. I'll be twirling over that for quite some time. So that is, admittedly, some probably poor ROVE playing, but that's how the flow of the game is. You hope that you have some of these to get more movement points, but if you don't, you just take what's default and try your hardest to not really use the abilities too soon. But just another point, adjacency is edge or corners. So orthogonal and diagonal do work. So technically I could use the gripper's ability to reactivate the laser, because adjacency is corners or edges, or corners or sides, I guess I should say. So I completed 3. So there's also the fascinating flora expansion, which sort of tells a story about plants. So you have void, plant, smell, swing, ignite, and pluck. these are more missions, and the Fascinating Floor expansion also allows you to try to complete as many missions as possible. I guess you're trying to complete 12, which, ooh, that's a lot. In the base game, if you happen to have these formations on the movement side of the cards, and you get more movements. But in the floor expansion, you don't necessarily get more movements. You get to refresh the abilities of the modules. So if you happen to have this one, you get to refresh the brain. If it's been used, you still get one movement. And it works the same. It's the same way for all 6 of them. If you have the formation finished, you get the same number of movement, but you get to refresh the ability. Because the only card that can allow you to refresh something or activate it is the gripper. But once the gripper has been used, that's it. But the floor expansion lets you, the difficulty is much higher, but you're able to revive an already previously activated module. So my thoughts on ROVE. ROVE definitely continues the series of Button Shy published games that are compact. It has that going for it. A few cards, but packs a punch. Like, this game is challenging. You will sometimes gonna think like, oh man, if only this wasn't here, you know, and that's okay. If you lose, you just take the cards, shuffle them back up again, and then you restart. And that's the appeal of a Button Shy game. I think ROVE has certainly earned its place in the Button Shy catalog. So I'd recommend going ahead and picking that up, unless you just don't like to lose. If you're okay with failure and trying again, ROVE comes highly recommended. Anyway, thank you for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Give it a thumbs up if you didn't like it. Share it, leave a comment, all those things. Anyway, take care, stay safe, and be blessed.